The key is the consistency from Steph, Draymond, Andrew Wiggins, and now an ascending Jonathan Kuminga. Dennis Schröder, let's see if he can figure this thing out. Because I do like him. I like his demeanor, but he's just never played the style. So give him some time. I hear it, but time is running out for the Warriors because the deadline is coming up February 6th, so you got to figure this thing out over the next couple of weeks. Do we got a Steph Curry 3 anywhere? That's how we got to start the show off. The chef was cooking last night. All right, for guards, hold on, Lubman. For guards 35 and older, he's the oldest guard who has the most 30-point games for a guard 35 and over. Most 30-point games for a guard 35 and over. Surpassing the great Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Give me a 3, Risotto.
Rebound fell straight down to Curry. Curry brings it across half court, puts on the brakes. Heat check 3. Got another one. Curry is now 8 for 8 from 3. He's got 30 points.
What is going on here?
Yeah, what is going on? Fitz, StatMuse had the stat. Again, Stephen Curry becoming for a guard 35 and older, most 30-point games for a guard 35 and older, surpassing Michael Jordan last night. Look, that's the way to start the show here on the Payday Friday / 50 Cent Friday / Hollow Notes / Phil Collins Friday.
Thank you.
Whatever it is.
It's not Hollow Notes. Hollow Notes does not rhyme with the Friday, with the F. It's Phil Collins Friday, and I'm wearing the shirt right now. If you're watching on Twitch, Twitter, or YouTube, all powered by First NorCal Credit Union.
Look like you're in great shape, man. It looks like you're
actually not, but I appreciate you saying that.
Man, that shirt looks good.
Thanks, bud.
Looks good.
Black is slimming.
Man, the holiday season didn't do me right, man. I gotta
look fine. It's a nice flannel you're wearing.
Oh yeah, it's nice, nice and rainy out there. By the way, good morning, everybody. Drive safely,
please.
It is wet on the roadways.
Don't drive like an idiot.
Don't drive like an idiot. It is wet out there. Shout out to all the graveyard shift workers, all the truck drivers, all the overnight dancers. Probably was a slow night on a Thursday as we get into the new year here. But the Warriors start off the new year with a bang, going 1-0. We're clean slate. You're 16-16. Now you're 1-0 in the new year with 49 to play. Everybody played well, too. Draymond, J.K., Wiggins. I mean, Dennis Schröder hitting 3 threes in the first quarter to set the tone. How about Trayce Jackson-Davis dunking all over Joel Embiid, who, I got some thoughts on him. Absolutely embarrassing effort last night from Joel Embiid. I'm very disappointed in him. But the Warriors get a must-needed win at home. They're 17-16, and as you heard from Tim Roy, a huge back-to-back this weekend against Memphis and Sac.
Well, it's great to see Trayce Jackson-Davis, as you mentioned, because he's been playing well against some of the big boys in the league. Anthony Davis, albeit a small sample size, Giannis in the past, and now Joel Embiid. Add that, like those are the 3 best big men. Probably you would, if you did a poll with NBA GMs, they would have 1 or 3 in that order, right? All 3 of those guys. So good to see from the sophomore in Trayce Jackson-Davis, and then just overall, like. We were talking yesterday, it felt like doom and gloom. It just felt like where this team is at right now, they're mid, as Stephen Curry said, average. Just the worst place you can be as a sports fan. Because if you're horrible, right? And you can, focus on the future, draft pick, whatever. But if you're in the middle, it's just like, are we good enough? Are we not good enough? It's very difficult to be in that spot, whether it's in Major League Baseball, because Giants fans have definitely felt that the last few seasons, whether it's in football, the Niners have kind of been muddling around that. Now they're just having kind of a bad season. But with the Warriors, like, they needed that win last night. And if you look on the other side in that Philadelphia 76ers team, if you're a Warriors fan, just that's what it could be like.
Right.
That's a bad organization in a team that is headed, and I know they won 8 of 12 or whatever it was heading into that game, but they're not good. They're not a good team.
They're not right.
They're not good. Like Paul George and that trade that didn't go down in regards to Paul George over the summer, they better thank their lucky stars it didn't happen if you're the Golden State Warriors, because you could be in a similar position right now had that trade gone down, Bonte, and you potentially moved off a guy like Jonathan Kuminga, who, again, showed his size, his athleticism, his speed, his scoring ability, all that last night.
I mean, Kuminga, Wiggins, you would have to give up a lot for Paul George. And you know where I stood on that trade. God,
he's old.
I just did not want to see the war. I told you this. I was walking at Levi Stadium the day the Kansas City Chiefs game. He goes, "Whoop!" So Joe Lacob. I told Joe Lacob, I said, Joe, I'm really pleased that trade didn't go down. I didn't like it. I just didn't like it for the Golden State Warriors.
Not Mr. Lacob. It was Joe.
It was
Joey.
What did I call him? Joe, Uncle Joe, Mr. Lacob. I think I call him Joe.
Call him Joey next time. See how that lands.
Nah, I'm not gonna do that. I think we're on first name basis. Hopefully. But no, you look at Paul George. Look, he was okay last night. 19 points with just 2 rebounds and no assists. The Warriors really blew past them with a 9-0 run. late in the first quarter that lingered into the second quarter. They opened up the game 17-6 Spinoni in the first 5 minutes of change. So they rolled yesterday, 35-19 after the first quarter. The assist numbers, they had 12 assists in the first quarter off 13 made baskets. They were rolling. They were 7 of 11 from the three-point line in the first quarter alone, folks. So they had the shots rolling, but the great ball movement, which created open shots. And we get to Steph, where it didn't feel like he forced anything last night. It was all within the rhythm and flow of the offense. Ball was hopping around. I thought Draymond was aggressive offensively. Had one of his better nights in the last week. 15-7-6. 15-7-6 for Day-Day. Andrew Wiggins playing solid defense on Paul George. He had his 15 points. It was good to see his offense come around. But Dennis Schröder trying to learn how to play in this system. And he spoke about it after the game, Spadone, about playing in the split action, not letting the ball stick. And him hitting shots early, I think, lifted the burden off of everybody. He started hitting shots. He started feeling good, and the rest of the team followed behind him. And they rolled last night to a much-needed win. And now you have a chance to get, by the end of the weekend, you play Memphis and Sacramento. Memphis has no job of rep, but they're playing well. It's a winnable game. And then you play Sacramento on the back end of the back-to-back. After catching Memphis on the back end of a back-to-back, you have an opportunity to end the weekend with 19 wins. So, look, that was a feel-good win, and I think everybody around here needed it, Spinoni.
Absolutely. And Dennis Schroeder's best game as a Warrior. Like, I don't think we could undersell that enough. Easily his best game, most efficient game, clearly. As he dropped 15 points, he has 6 assists. He's a plus 17. All the starters in the plus category, like damn near everyone was in the plus category, whether it was off the bench or starting. Jonathan Kuminga, plus 25. No, the plus minus isn't the end all be all, but it can be a telling stat, just like all stats are. It doesn't tell the whole story,
right.
But just everyone was contributing to that win yesterday. It was a total team win. It was just refreshing to see the team happy. Like, God, just Stephen Curry happy after a game. Because I was listening to, it was Grandy and Dibbs yesterday, Mark Grandy filling in for Mark Willard, and they were playing just, Stephen Curry after the game, and him just, just not sounding like Steph, sounding like a guy that's defeated, and it's only January, Bonte. He shouldn't be sounding this defeated. Like, you're used to that, after a finals series or a playoff series, not during the regular season, not during when your team isn't completely out of it. But it was just good to see it, and Steph acknowledging that he met a 101-year-old fan, and he hasn't missed from beyond the arc since meeting said 101-year-old fan. And God, imagine being 101, by the way. And
great life.
That's an incredible life.
Peggy from Colorado, the super fan from Colorado, Peggy. She's 100 years old. Sister Jean. What's Sister Jean? She might be 102 now.
Maybe 130. Who knows?
Yeah, Sister Jean is rolling here, but
'tis the season. It's a wonderful life. There you go.
It's a wonderful life. They're living wonderful lives, and they're enjoying their basketball here. But Steph, look, he understood the assignment. Look, you can't sugarcoat it. You're 16-16. You can do a sugarcoat job all you want to,
Thanks, Joe.
but you're 16-16. So, yeah, you are very mid. But last night I thought they came out with a lot of energy and force, and I thought the key stretch, Spinoni, last night, you get out to a big lead. You hear from players all the time where you get a big lead in the NBA game, and it's almost like, oh, no, because the team's always going to make a run and get back into it. You get so comfortable and relaxed. But I thought a key point last night in the first half, Warriors are up 58-46. 58-47, excuse me, with 3:34 left in the first half. And it felt like at that point, Philly was starting to find a rhythm. And the Warriors ended up going up by 16 by the half. So they increased their lead. They go +5 in that stretch in the last 3:34 in the first half. They really put their foot on the gas pedal and really increase that lead, because it would have been inappropriate to be up, say, single digits. The Warriors in the first half, Spinoni, shot 56.5% from the floor and the three-point line.
Yeah.
But I thought that stretch in the last 3:34 in the first half last night to go up 16, I thought was key. And they came out in the third quarter, did their thing, and it was an ice and chill game in the fourth quarter. So the Warriors really not letting, because it could have got, we see this all the time with this team. This team blows double-digit leads like there's no tomorrow. So in that last 3:34 in the first half, I thought it was a very key stretch for the Warriors to win that game last night.
And it's just indicative of today's NBA, Bonte. No lead is safe. It doesn't matter if you're the Boston Celtics or the Toronto Raptors.
That three-point shot.
Exactly. Everyone's shooting them now. I mean, that's a product of what the Golden State Warriors kind of instilled a decade ago, and now everyone's trying to replicate that. Obviously, it's difficult to do that when you don't have Steph Curry, but everyone's trying, right? That leads to a conversation we'll have a little bit later on in the state of the NBA, the three-point shot. Charles Barkley going at J.J. Redick yesterday inside the NBA. We'll get into that at some point today. But to your point, just having a lead and being able to sit on it is not as easy as fans like to think, right? Like people get mad, like, oh, you had a 15-point lead. That's nothing in today's NBA. 15-point lead is nothing. That's 2 3-pointers away from it being a single-digit game. Yeah. So it's to your point. It's a skill that you need to have, and hopefully the Warriors can get better at doing that. I don't think they're not a juggernaut by any teams, but even the teams like the Boston Celtics who are, or the teams like the Cleveland Cavaliers, those are the teams that get the 20-point leads and they have them and they stay with them throughout the entirety of the game. The one guy, that's searching still right now, and I'm going to need to see something from him going forward because, it's a great win. We're not going to hammer him or anything. But Buddy Hield, it's been a rough stretch for him, Bonte.
Oh, we're not going to focus on that.
No, but 1 of 5. They're going to need him at some point soon, though.
Well, you know what? This is Buddy. This is who he is, right? Buddy's going to be a streaky player. Can you get by the slumps? There's peaks and valleys, peaks and valleys. Look, in December, he shot 30% from three. He shot 30%. Entering that game last night, he had missed 23 of his last 25 three-pointer attempts. I've seen this from Clay. I've seen slumps. Hell, I even see the chef have slumps. Shooters go through slumps.
They had equity, though, built in within this team.
No doubt. And look, Buddy Hield, right now the Warriors, they didn't make the playoffs last year, so I don't know how much equity you need on this team right now because they didn't make the playoffs last year. They lost the play-in tournament. It got blown out by Sacramento. But I'm not, Buddy played his 20 minutes. I liked his activity. When he puts the ball on the floor, that's when he gets himself into trouble. Kind of like Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
Puts the ball on the floor, and he gets himself into trouble. Catch and shoot, catch and shoot, catch and shoot. And right now, teams are taking that option away because they're cognizant that, hey, Buddy can get hot in this system. So they can put the ball on the floor. He'll come around. I do believe he'll come around, but this is who Buddy Hield is. I don't know why everybody thought he was going to be an all-star and become an all-NBA player the first couple of weeks.
12-3 start, yeah.
Yeah, he was off to it. He was shooting 48% from three-point line. That's not going to hold up.
No.
Hell, even Steph Curry's never shot 48% from three, for crying out loud.
He hasn't?
So let's just chill off Buddy. He's going to come around, but he's a streaky player. The key is the consistency from Steph, Draymond, Andrew Wiggins, and now an ascending Jonathan Kuminga. 25-5 last night. You saw his month of December. His month of December was awesome. Over 21 points a game, nearly 50% shooting from the floor. And you get consistency from him. 8 of 11 last night, just one turnover for JK. One turnover, that's it. And he took 3 3-point attempts, which I love, because he's not taking a lot of threes. If you get consistency from Andrew Wiggins, Jonathan Kuminga, Stephen Curry, and Draymond Green, well, then you can afford an off night from Buddy Hield. You can afford an off night from Dennis Schröder from time to time, but you need consistency from those core four right now.
Well, I mean, you just look at the assist total compared for both teams. Like, that was the difference in the game. 42 assists from the Golden State Warriors, doubling and more so than the Philadelphia 76ers, who had 16 total assists. Right. And that's the number I look at, too. Getting other people involved within the team. Ball movement. 5 assists for Jonathan Kuminga. 6 assists for Dennis Schröder. Steph, as you mentioned, 10 assists there, double-double. Andrew Wiggins, 4 assists. Trace Jackson Davis, he only scored 3 points, but 3 assists there. 3 more buckets. Draymond Green, 7 assists. Like, that's winning basketball. And I know, hey, listen, the Sixers stink. That's fine. I mean, they're 13-19. It's not like they're the worst team in the NBA. They've been playing a little bit better as of late. They probably should have beaten the Sacramento Kings. But it was just the ball movement and everything was working in totality. Can they build off this, though? That's going to be the next question. Yeah. It's one thing if you get this win, but you lose to the Memphis Grizzlies in a shorthanded Memphis Grizzlies tomorrow at home. Then what did that win yesterday mean? Nothing. And then you get the Kings and back into back-to-back on Sunday, to your point. And this stretch, could be favorable. That's the thing. But the Warriors have to show us that. I'm not going to give them any of these gimmies coming up here. There is no gimmies for the Golden State Warriors or for anyone for that matter, because as we've mentioned, Bonte, anyone could beat anyone on any given night in the NBA. I wouldn't be shocked.
I got some thoughts on Embiid, though, before we we hit the break.
That guy.
Because I love what the Warriors did last night. By the way, JK in the month of December, 21 points, 46% shooting, 35.5 from 3, 6 rebounds, 2.5 assists in 31 minutes played. When he plays at least 30 minutes, he produces. So bookmark that with Jonathan Kuminga. Bookmark that. JK is not your problem.
Didn't need to play 30 minutes last night.
He didn't need to play 30 minutes last night, but he played 25 and he dropped 25 and 5.
He did.
So the slander when it comes to JK about who he is and IQ and all that, dead that. Miss me with that. Because this is the second straight season where he showed that he could be a big-time player in this league. Now, are we talking superstar? Not sure about that. Are we talking about a guy who can carry a franchise? Don't know about that yet. But damn it, he can help you win. That's for sure. He does things on his team that nobody else does. So lay off of JK for a second, man. This is a month plus a game in January that he's balled out here, where he's finally getting consistent minutes. You got it, and that's the one thing too. Before we get to Embiid, Steve Kerr's starting to shorten his rotation. He's going 9 deep. So Podziemski's been out now for a week, but he's going 9 deep. And Kyle Anderson and Kevon Looney drew the short end of the stick where they're not getting playing time. Now you're going 9 deep, and everybody knows their roles. You telling me that's not helping? TJG knows that, okay, I'm going to start, and if I'm playing well, I'm going to get about 20 minutes. JK's going to come off the bench, but he knows if I'm productive and I'm playing well, I'm going to get nearly 30 minutes a game. Buddy Hield knows his role. Schroder knows his role. So now that Steve Kerr's shortened the rotation for now, I think we're going to get more consistent play from the Golden State Warriors. When you're going 11, 12, 13 deep, guys don't know when they're playing. Am I playing 15 minutes a night or I'm playing 5? Am I playing 25 minutes or I'm playing 10? Now Steve Kerr shortened the rotation, and I think we're going to see some better basketball from the Warriors moving forward.
It's a mindset, right? Like that it's more mental than anything at that point. It's just knowing what to expect when you go into a workplace. As for any workplace, so whether it's the NBA, whether it's here, Bonte, like you're going to be hosting from 6 to 10 a.m., right? Like you have to mentally prepare yourself to what you're going to talk about, what you're going to do this, that. Like it'd be different if you were, let's say, producing, or you're like, oh, maybe I'm starting, maybe I'm hosting today, maybe I'm not. Like you have to be in that mindset constantly, and that takes a toll on a player. Like, I don't know, maybe a Moses Moody at times, who's been in this position many a times before, a Kyle Anderson, a Buddy Hield. Like, knowing when you're going to play, it does a lot, and it affects you on the court more than anything mentally. And if you, listen, look good, feel good, play good, right? Well, if you know you're going to play, you're going to produce at least somewhat better, you'd hope. But yeah, to your point, it's a huge relief for some of these players, just knowing that they're going to be getting consistent minutes. And, credit to Steve Kerr a little bit for wins last night. He gets a lot of heat right now. We give him all this praise when they start off 12-3, and we're going to rip the guy when they've been struggling the last 15-plus games after that. It's just, right? It's the nature of the beast. That's what we do. It's always going to be, hey, when they're winning, it's the players, it's not the coach. When they're losing, it's the coach. It's in the NBA, it's in the NFL, it's in Major League Baseball.
It's actually really dumb.
It is.
It's actually, I've lost brain cells over the last year with some of the dialogue about sports. But anyway.
Well, fire Kyle Shanahan. That's what we need to do, right? Because that'll change everything.
The fact that Jed York had to come out and tell Kawakami that they're coming back next year was an absolute joke. That's what I do. It's been a while since I've been in I miss being in the pressers every single day. I do miss the scrums. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yesterday's presser with the Golden State Warriors actually, it made me feel better if I was a Warriors fan. Speaking of the pressers, listening to Draymond. By the way,
I can't believe how much I love Risotto.
Yeah, I know you. Well, no, I
you tell everybody at Reardon Risotto, that's all love. You tell the basketball head coach up there to stop being sensitive that I got love for Reardon.
At this point, Bonte's going to come to the high school to do a talk like he does at SF State.
Oh, they won't ever let
TED
me.
Talk with Bonte.
They won't allow me at Reardon for that one.
I'll facilitate. Hey, Shasky did that downtown luncheon that they did.
Yeah.
Maybe next year for Bonte Hill.
Headlining it. Art Shasky did a hell of a job at their luncheon. I already did a hell of a job there, so that's good. That's good. Shout out to Craig Sargent, the new baseball coach up there.
Talking about patting yourself on the back real quick as we're doing that. Do you hear Draymond Green yesterday in the presser? Do we have that? No. We'll get to it in a second.
Leave my boy Day alone, man. You've been all over Draymond the last 2 days here.
Someone has to hold him accountable, all right?
He's playing well.
Great.
He's playing well right now.
Congratulations. He's scored double-digit points.
Hey, you know what? He's done that a lot this year.
Yeah.
No, he's playing well.
That's great.
You guys want to trade this guy for Zion Williamson, who can't even stand on damn court? I'm telling you, Zion's rookie season, I kid you not. When I visited locker room Bonte.
There you go.
Zion Williamson, his rookie year, needed 2 people to help him take off his tank top that's under his jersey. That's how big he is. I was like, damn. I've never seen. He needed people to help him.
That's called being a physical specimen, Bonte.
No, that's called being out of shape.
I would run around this studio naked.
Zion was out running around the locker room naked. Not sure where that job
comes in. Might have been Mariah Mills.
But you know what?
Continue.
You know what? Screw that. You're trying to trade my Hall of Famer, my 4-time champion for Zion Williamson? Back up, Spadoni. That's what you do in Lakerland. Don't do that here. All right? That's not what we're doing.
It's called a commitment to excellence, Bonte. And I thought the Warriors wanted to compete for titles still. I thought that was what the expectation is in Golden State with Joe Lacob. The expectations are to win.
Why would you want to trade your championship player?
I'm trading a declining player is what I would be doing. And the stock right now might be at an all-time high for Draymond Green coming off that performance. But anyways, yesterday in the presser, what he had to say in regards to, Stephen Curry, because Reggie Miller was on the broadcast yesterday at TNT, and Reggie Miller was in the building, and, Steph likes to show out in front of guys like that, in front of Ray Allen, the greatest three-point shooters of all time, right? And so Draymond was like, sometimes it just takes one of those people to be in the crowd. Kind of like me when I was in Paris at courtside in the gold medal game and Stephen Curry went off. I was like, yeah, Draymond, because Steph really went off because you were in the crowd in Paris, not the entire world watching him. It was Draymond Green specific. I just oh my God. I wish I had the confidence of a Draymond Green sometimes. I do.
It'd go a long way, buddy. Here's Draymond Green to ask about Steph's great shooting night.
It was great, especially that he barely practiced yesterday. Kind of walk around practice, doing everything with his left hand. We did a conditioning drill, full-court layups at the end, but in conditioning, he did all of them with his left hand, even on the right side. So to see him come out and have the game that he had, just kind of sums up Steph.
Yeah, I was concerned with the tape all over his right thumb. I was like, man, I asked this in the pregame. It's like, what was it like to shoot with that? He goes, Bud, I'm not a shooter. I'm a shot blocker. It's like, I'm trying to give you a ball, throw you a bone here. But Monty Poole, who joined us yesterday, as well as Festus Zeeley, said it's going to have no impact. And it didn't have any impact. He didn't miss a three last night. The only shots he missed was inside the arc. He was 3 of 7 on twos. And 8 of 8 for the three-point line.
I don't when it's the finger or the thumb, I don't worry about certain shooters like that. All-time greats, they'll figure it out. I remember Kobe had to play with the splint on his non-shooting hand before. They figure it out. They're going to be fine at the end of the day. It's the guys that don't have the greatest shots, like Festus Lucci's for a guy like me, that I would have probably struggled. But for Steph, when Anthony Slater joined us, our 95.7 The Game Warriors Insider yesterday, he said, he expects him to play. He'll probably be fine. I didn't sweat it after that. Yeah. When a guy like Anthony says he'll be fine, he'll probably be fine.
Yeah. Let's go to Oscar in Stockton. I know he's always fine with the Warriors. Oscar, what's happening, man? Good morning to you.
What's up, Bo?
Hey, good morning to you guys, man. That's what I like about 95.7 The Game. You guys, you talk the realness when it's there, and if you mess up, you come back and apologize. But not you guys, man. I like about that. You guys, you wake my morning up, with good analysis, man. So I'll give y'all that props. Another thing, like I was saying, the way we pass the basketball is the way we have to play. And I know Curry emphasized that at the practice. And Stephen Curry, when he talked at the last game, they have to start running the offense, and they did that last night. And the floodgates opened up. Once Steph started hitting and started playing with joy, the first shot, he said he did it on purpose. And that got everybody going. That got him going. I haven't seen Curry play like that with the joy. And, everybody keep on talking about Jonathan Kuminga, Monte, like you say. You get a young man 30 minutes a game, and you see what's happening. We have to continue to let him play and let Moses Moody play. Moses Moody's shot looked good. It looked good, and that opened the offense up. Yeah. And not only that, Schroder, you got to get him at least play 10 games. You see what happened last night. Schroder is starting to get into the offense, and he defensively wise, he played his butt off yesterday. The whole team, man. So, we got a good organization, a good coaching staff. I know everybody wants to panic. Like I said yesterday, we're 16-16. The season not over with. If we do make a move, good. We need a big man. But if we don't make a move, this team is going to improve, man. Like Steph said, they was 12-3 for a reason. Right. A bad team doesn't start off 12-3. They'll get it back, man. We are shooters, and last night it opened the floodgates. And right from this point on, guarantee you the Warriors will get their stride back. Ooh, you guys have a nice day, man.
I love the optimism, Oscar. Very, very good points there. Well said, Oscar. And Moses Moody, that's 3 straight games in which he scored a double figures. 3 straight games in which Moses Moody has scored in double figures. And he looks confident, and he's just playing out there without thinking. So that's a good development here. If Buddy Hield's going to struggle, Moses Moody could pick up the slack. Moses Moody went 4 or 5 from the three-point line last night. Dennis Schröder, as Oscar pointed out, his point-of-attack defense on Tyrese Maxey and whoever he was guarding was effective last night. That was Schroeder's trying to find his rhythm. We'll get some sound on Dennis Schröder because he spoke after the game about, hey, I'm trying to get down to split action, the patented play that the Warriors run, the split action where you get the ball to the post, guy split screen, and boom. Next thing you know, a guy flares off that screen, and he's hitting the three or whatnot, or he's diving to the rim. Dennis Schröder is starting to let's see if he can figure this thing out. Because I do like him. I like his demeanor, but he's just never played the style. So give him some time. I hear it, but time is running out for the Warriors because the deadline is coming up February 6th. So you got to figure this thing out over the next couple of weeks.
If my math is correct, I think I counted 17 games up until the trade deadline they have. 17 games remaining until February 6th, right? They play the Lakers that night, but it's the earlier in the day, obviously. 12 o'clock Pacific time is when the deadline is. So, yeah. 17 games to prove if you're going to be a team to believe in or not to believe in. As we go, we believe with the Golden State Warriors. And to your point about Dennis Schröder, why I like the acquisition is, I think he's just going to be I thought he was going to be a good fit, and that remains to be seen a little bit here. Definitely his best game as a Warrior, I believe, last night and that win. But I just like how he plays on the court. Like, he plays with this flair that is just fun to watch. He's got some swag on the court, and he just brings something that's unique to this team. And he's not the biggest guy. He's got a longer wingspan, but he's listen to 6'1".
Yep.
He's a scrappy player. He does the little things sometimes, but he also does some things that make you pull your hair out. But I like that they have a player that kind of lives on that edge, right?
Yep.
Like, Draymond lives on the edge in a different way, but Schroder does some boneheaded things, but he'll dive on the floor. You're going to get everything you've got when it comes to Dennis Schroder. Not like what I saw Joel Embiid yesterday at times. I know what I'm getting from Dennis Schroder at the end of the day, so I don't crush him as hard as some other players where I'm expecting more out of. This is a guy that's coming to a situation. It's his 18 in 8 years, something like that, or 8 seasons, 8 different teams, something ridiculous like that. Like, he's played in so many different variants and styles, and that's got to take a toll on a guy. So just joining a team with 2 future Hall of Famers, not one, but with Stephen Curry and Draymond Green that demand a lot out of you. Hell, we've seen Draymond get on the likes of Buddy Hield, who's been a longtime NBA veteran. He's not afraid to do that. So hopefully this is a sign of Dennis Schroder and things to come for him to play well now going forward.
Well, here's what he said last night about adjusting to playing with this new team and Steph and Draymond. Here's Dennis Schroder.
Yeah, it's different. I mean, the last couple of years, what they've been doing has been working, and it's great. And for me, I played with a lot of people in my career, and I always can adjust. And whatever they ask me, to do, I'm always ready for it. But it's gonna take a little bit of time.
Here's more on that.
The last 10 days. 12 days been tough, but luckily we won the game today. Played very well, shared the ball, played with force, and we stayed aggressive. And the most important, we had fun, and we just got to get back to that. And of course, I have to adjust to the team, and it's getting there.
He said the word fun right there and playing with joy. And I do think we kind of get bogged down in the X's and O's a lot. And sometimes it's as simple as, listen, when you're winning, it's fun. And when the shots are going in, it's just fun. And when you're playing free and you don't have this, and you go back to the rotation and what your role is on a given night, that makes that a lot easier. And a guy that exudes so much fun on the court is what I was just kind of getting at, is Dennis Schroder when everything's going well. And no, it hasn't been going well as of late, and he's been, struggling to fit in here. But you saw what it could be last night. And again, it's the Sixers too. There's part of that.
That's a good. They got talent on that team.
They got talent.
It's an NBA team that's trying to find its way.
But I don't want.
Listen, I've said this all season. You can't control what the other team does. You control how you play.
Correct.
Control what you control.
Correct.
And last night the Warriors played the right way.
It is. It's a step, but they need to show us. And
of course,
trust,
consistency.
Yes,
You're a 500 team. You're a 500 team. There's no doubt. You got to stack wins.
But it was a good step in the right direction. And playing with joy. And you just saw it from top to bottom and the entire team. No one had a frown on their face yesterday.
Nah, nobody's going to pop champagne and say that, hey, man, they've arrived. They're back. No, you got to stack these wins. And this weekend is huge. It's huge against Memphis and Sacramento. Can you win these 2 games? Can you win these 2 games and then get ready for the Miami Heat in a homestand with 4 straight victories? That is the key here for the Golden State Warriors. And then if they could get to 20-16, 19-17, or whatever it is, all of a sudden you go on the road to Detroit and Indiana for a back-to-back next weekend, And it's not going to be easy on that back-to-back. They got some players in both Detroit and Indiana.
Detroit's not the worst team in the league like they've been for. No, they got talent. They got talent.
They ran the Warriors a couple years ago.
Yeah.
They got speed, man. They got athleticism. Yeah, Sadiq Bey.
Forever Warrior, Sadiq Bey.
Forever Warrior. Here's Draymond Green when he was asked about Dennis Schröder.
He brings a different mentality, different aggressiveness, and yet what we've needed. I think the last piece is his offense. We need that also, and he's starting to get more aggressive, which we like. It takes some time to come in middle of the season and try to find your way, especially on a team that's struggling. And I think he's starting to do that. He's starting to figure out where to find his shots. Like I said, he's being more aggressive, but also what he brings to us on the defensive end is huge. With the way he gets into the ball for the opposing team, best ball handler, it changes a lot of things for us. So he's starting to come along, and it's great because we need him to be really good for us to be good.
That's Draymond Green on Dennis Schröder, and he's not lying there. So nice night for Dennis Schröder as you're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM, and AC1 San Francisco and Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Sam Gordon, San Francisco Chronicle, a main man. We can talk some boxing with him, too. He's a big boxing fan.
Oh.
Yeah,
Deontay Wilder retiring.
Yeah, he did. Did he really?
Mm-hmm.
He needed to.
Yeah,
he needed to. It was done.
Smart to do that now, like because you see some guys that don't know when to hang it up, and it could be unfortunately fatal going forward. So
he was cooked.
Yeah,
so good for him for retiring. But we had a great heavyweight fight with Fury and Usyk, and Usyk
he's
put hands on him. He's the guy right now.
Yeah.
So we'll talk to Sam Gordon about the Warriors. He covers the Warriors for the San Francisco Chronicle, and we'll talk to Kitty Caraway.
Oh, KC.
ESPN 1320.
How are they feeling about their Kangs right now?
We're
I know
him
and Damian not very happy about that firing from Mike Brown.
And he's a big Niner fan.
He is.
Big Niner fan. So we'll get his thoughts on the Niners moving forward as they do have a game against Arizona. Yes, they do have a game. It may be meaningless, but they have a game.
It's not meaningless to a couple people. I would like to see George Kittle finish with the most yards for any tight end this year. That would be big for him. I think he's playing for a first-team All-Pro position, so he's playing for something. And some of these backups are also playing for something as well. I mean, there's going to be auditions. You're auditioning for the rest of the league at any given Sunday, Bonte. So
Ricky Pearsall.
Hey, Josh Dobbs is looking for a backup job somewhere else probably.
Possibly.
I don't think he's going to be there next year for the 49ers, so he's going to have an opportunity.
No doubt.
And hey, is Kyler Murray going to play in this game? Because I want to see some more from Kyler Murray, who also might be playing for his job going forward in Arizona.
Arizona, what a fade they had.
Right.
They had that game against the Rams, 13-9.
Bonte, I knew they were done when I started hearing rumblings and conversations on ESPN of topics on their screen for Get Up saying, should Kyler Murray be in the MVP conversation? I was like, oh, they're cooked. As soon as that popped up, I was
man.
there's no chance they're living up to that.
Stop.
And then
Kyler's playing well.
Yeah, and then he wasn't.
But no, I'll tell you one guy who is playing well, though, Trace Jackson Davis. His last 7 games for the Warriors. Wow.
Box score wasn't sexy for him yesterday, but again, you have to watch the game. Yes.
The activity was great last night. So we'll talk more Warriors. 888-957-9570. Are you coming around on this team? What'd you make of last night? Then we can get to the 49ers. Also, we'll get to the Jimmy Butler sound. Because I'm asking Warrior fans. A lot of Warrior fans want Jimmy Butler from what I hear. We'll play some sound from Jimmy Butler from last night. Now I'll read you his game logs from the last 2 nights.
You want to shout out Jimmy Butler?
Yeah, shout out Jimmy Butler for giving us content.
Thank you.
Jimmy Butler has been rumored with the Warriors now all season long. Obviously, he has a player option where he can opt in or opt out, and it's for $52 million. And word on the street is he's going to opt out to try to get a new contract. And he's starting to bounce around the NBA as well. Minnesota, Chicago, Philadelphia, Miami. And he's had some good runs with Miami, leading them to a couple NBA finals. He's played well in the postseason. He really has. Two-way guard. Tough player. Multiple all-star, but he's kind of worn out his welcome in multiple stops. Right now in Miami, it's not ending well. And then the last 2 games, Padoni, Jimmy Butler. Last night he goes 3 for 6, 27 minutes. 9 points, 4 assists, 2 rebounds. He took 6 shots. The night before that against New Orleans, at home, he took 5 shots. Scored 9 points, grabbed 4 rebounds. And, of course, he was featured in that Netflix series with the basketball player, LeBron James.
Starting 5.
Starting 5. Domantas Sabonis, Jimmy Butler. Who was the other guy?
So there was Sabonis, there was Anthony Edwards, Jason Tatum, LeBron, and Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler. So he has a great personality. We know that.
He was the star of that show. It was him and Anthony Edwards, I would say. Actually, LeBron James low-key, too, just because you saw all the therapy he does, which is insane. Domantas Sabonis was the biggest snoozer. His wife was more interesting than him on that show, but we won't get into that.
We won't get into that at all.
Maybe with KC.
But Jimmy, it's been rumored that he's at odds with the Miami Heat. Remember Pat Riley, right after the season, Jimmy Butler, because I don't know if he's trolling. I don't know if he's being funny, but you're not playing the Knicks right now. You lost. You should probably shut your mouth. And so now Jimmy Butler's kind of taking subtle shots at Pat Riley and the Heat organization. He's gotten into it with multiple Heat guys in the past, Udonis Haslem, Eric Spoelstra. And then last night, we had this doozy from Jimmy Butler. Take a listen, Roasters.
What do I want to see happen? I want to see me get my joy back from playing basketball. And wherever that may be, we'll find out here pretty soon. But I want to get my joy back. I'm happy here off the court, but I want to be back to somewhat dominant. I want to hoop, and I want to help this team win. Right now, I'm not doing that.
Can you get your joy back here on the court?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Wow.
Said, I'm happy here off the court. He's not happy on the court. So, Warrior fans, I ask you, do you want to trade for Jimmy Butler after hearing that? He's indicated multiple times that he wants out of Miami. What did you make of that soundbite from Jimmy Butler?
What's the price point? That's what I would ask first and foremost, because as we know that
I wouldn't even.
Listen. I know.
Sorry,
I hear you.
I'm not even going to consider trading for this guy.
I understand. I'm playing doing the exercise, if you will. So if the price point is, Andrew Wiggins and Jonathan Kuminga, I'm out. Actually, if anything, with Andrew Wiggins, to be honest, I'm out on. If it's a lot of first-round picks and some of the young guys, now the salaries are going to have to match. So, a Wiggins or a Draymond would have to be a part of that, or a lot involved. And I don't think I'm just trading the farm for Jimmy Butler at this point. Yeah. I'm just not. So salaries are going to have to match. It would be a 3-team deal. But regardless of all that, the player himself at this point in his career, being 35 years old, is this version of Jimmy Butler, who has been battling injuries all season long, is this going to take you over the top in the Western Conference? No chance. I'm sorry. It's just not. What you're going to have to give up, whether it's a combination of Wiggins, Kuminga, a Draymond, just any combination of these guys, Pajemski, it's not going to make that much of a difference to me. If this was an Eastern Conference team that felt like they're a Jimmy Butler away and they have a plethora of talent to shed, sure. But also, do I want that in my locker room? That's another thing. And this is a guy that's played for a lot of teams, Bonte. And when you play for a lot of teams and you've gone to the finals a couple times, granted, I'll give you that. But you've worn out your welcome in every single place you've been to. Every single place you've gone to, you have worn out your welcome. That tells me a lot about a player, a great player, a Hall of Fame player, but a player that has flaws. And at this point in his career, am I willing to jeopardize my entire future for this player who could just bounce? Given what he's saying here, do I trust him to re-sign with my team first and foremost? I don't know. Like if I'm the Warriors and I feel like I'm going to have him for a couple seasons, but he has a player option, maybe he opts out of it and says, actually, this isn't a fit. And then you just mortgage your entire future for what? A couple months, and you maybe win a series in the playoffs? Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's no for me, dog. Now, it's interesting. DraftKings Sportsbook, Bonte, they have this thing up right now. Next regular season minute played after the trade deadline for which NBA team? This is Jimmy Butler. Mm-hmm. So they have odds for this. So next regular season minute played. So who's he going to be playing with post-trade deadline? The Heat are the favorites still, minus 300, that he's going to remain with the Miami Heat.
And Pat Riley mentioned this on Christmas, right? Yep. That we are not trading Jimmy Butler.
Correct. So, and Jimmy wants to play the game, right? And obviously there was that big thing on Christmas morning. Everyone woke up to Jimmy Butler it was Shams Charania and Shams and Jimmy's team going back and forth, back and forth.
Shams was right.
Shams was right. Of course he was right. But the Heat are the favorites. And then the next favorite, according to DraftKings Sportsbook, the Golden State Warriors, plus 500 for the next regular season minute played after the trade deadline for Jimmy Butler. So the Warriors, I mean, listen, they love to be in these conversations because they got their name out there. They're big fish hunting. And Shams has been on that. He's been saying, hey, from what I'm hearing.
No secret. The Warriors are, they tried all offseason to do something.
And then the Rockets are right behind them. Now, I still think like a team like the Rockets may be more in line to take a chance like that. Now, what are they giving up? Is it a Şengün? Is it something like that?
Well, you're not going to do that. You're not going to trade a young Şengün for Jimmy Butler. Well, no. And then you already have Dylan Brooks, you have Jalen Green, you have
or Fred VanVleet, some combination. Yeah, so there's a lot of.
I don't think Houston wants to disrupt that young locker room.
But he's a Houston native, correct?
Yeah, but which is why he didn't really, when he was looking for a new team.
I know there's a lot of baggage. Yeah,
he didn't really want to go back to Houston.
There's a lot of
So I don't know if Houston would be on that table. But the ironic thing is, the Miami Heat coming to town January 7th. That's on Tuesday, folks. Next Tuesday, the Heat are coming to town. And I wonder how many conversations Mike Dunleavy will have with the Heat brass as they come to town. Will that conversation be? But Warrior fans already, I'm looking at the Comcast Business text line. Conflicting texts. 925. Jimmy is a cancer and he is showing it. 408. Our boy Oreo Cookie. There's only 2 players I wouldn't trade for Jimmy. Jimmy is a closer. That's what the Dubs need. I take Jimmy buckets over Day-Day. No. Would have liked to see Drummond last night, but I did notice seeing Draymond. Somebody said post game to chop it up. I've never high on Jimmy Butler either. I know I'm like sitting here and I'm not high on a lot of trades here because I don't think a lot of trades are going to get them over the top. But now you're bringing in a guy like Jimmy Butler, and what does that do? There's another guy, Read and React. Can he play in this type of system? We're asking for all the movement. He's 35 years old. He's had multiple injuries. Could he play in this pace? Could he play in this system? In the playoffs, again, you're going to hold the ball a little bit more in the game becomes a half-court game where Jimmy excels. But Warrior fans, you have to ask yourself, would you really want to make a trade? Like, it's probably going to cost you Jonathan Kuminga.
Yes.
From what I've seen from Kuminga, last season, and since the start of December, why would I want to trade Jonathan Kuminga for Jimmy Butler? I got a 22-year-old who is ascending, who is averaging damn near the same everything. And I get it. They're different players right now. But I would rather bet on the prospect of JK becoming a Jimmy Butler-like, becoming a star, than I would to trade JK for Jimmy Butler at the age of 35, knowing he has a player option that he can opt out of. I'm good off that. I'm sorry, Warrior fans. I'm not on the Jimmy Butler sweepstakes.
Well, I just pictured Jimmy Butler. Like, you picture all of his playoff moments, right? It's him with the ball in his hands, winding down the shot clock at the end of every game in the playoffs. Like, that's not the Golden State Warriors offense. Like, as much as Schroder is struggling right now to adapt into this system, you don't think Jimmy Butler is going to have his struggles? And Schroder, to his credit, he's been very introspective. He's been very forthright in saying it with his struggles. And, this is a process. Like, if they're struggling early on in the Jimmy Butler era, you don't think Jimmy's going to be upset and chirping at the media and saying some things like, I'm just not getting the ball in my hands. It's like you don't want any part of that, especially if you still have all these young players that you want to develop. Like, there is something to the Warriors culture right now, and I get it. A lot of Warriors fans are going to be like scoff at and be cynical and say, oh, yeah, well, Steve Kerr and, this Warriors culture, what does that mean? He hasn't really developed anyone. No, he has when it comes to trades. I look at a guy like Andrew Wiggins, night and day since going to the Golden State Warriors. And he's had his struggles, no doubt. I think a lot of that was mental and a lot of that was off the court, dealing with the loss of his father and his sickness, obviously. And I think we're seeing a different Andrew out of this. But we saw the difference early on in Andrew Wiggins. First and foremost, him and Ron Adams getting together in the defensive effort. Just night and day from what you saw with Minnesota and him becoming one of the best two-way players during that run, in that championship run in the NBA. And then you saw the willingness offensively. Like, I don't know, and I have my questions with Jimmy Butler in a short amount of time to what the Warriors would want to do if you made that trade to turn this into a championship type of team. I don't see it, Bob.
No, I don't. Well, he wanted the extension before the season. Pat Riley said, I'm not extending you.
No.
You're playing this out. And so him talking about, I want to see me get my joy back to playing basketball, well, that's on you. That's a personal problem. Bam Adebayo looks like he's having fun. Tyler Hero's balling. He's playing well. He's having fun.
Who do you gonna scrap him
to? Thompson.
Yeah, he threw him to the crowd.
Yeah, he slammed him. So the whole Jimmy Buckets thing, I'm good off that. And right now, Miami, they're 6th place in the Eastern Conference. They're 17-15. They're out of the box, so despite all this trouble and trauma and the turbulence with Jimmy Butler, they're still in a position to be in the top 6 and qualify for a playoff series in the best of 7 series. So I just look. If it costs me J.K. or Wiggins, I'm keeping those guys instead of trading them for Jimmy Butler. I'm just not doing it.
I know you're against this, what I'm about to bring up too, but I just want to have the conversation anyways, because I'm sure there are people there, and I would love to hear from you at 888-957-9570. Oreo Cookie said, Day, Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler, the salary there, and then you could add maybe like a Pajemski, I don't know, Kavan or a Moses Moody, something like that, some sort of package there. Like, is that doing anything for you? If you keep Andrew Wiggins...
No, I'm not trading Draymond Green for Jimmy Butler. Not this system.
But if you keep Jonathan Kuminga and you keep Andrew Wiggins and you added Jimmy Butler with the Stephen Curry,
I'm not trading Draymond Green.
Okay.
I'm not trading Draymond Green
Who
off
do you think's a better player at this stage of their career? Draymond Green or Jimmy Butler?
Draymond Green's value to the Golden State Warriors is infinitely better than freaking Jimmy Butler. It's not even close. Draymond's moving that basketball. He's pushing that rock.
You don't think that
champion to change?
You don't think what you're getting offensively compared to Draymond Green with Jimmy Butler? I know you're going to sacrifice some on the defensive end. What you're getting there, Jimmy's no slouch defensively. He's a little older, but you don't think that you're getting an infinitely more better scorer in Jimmy Butler than Draymond Green?
I don't need Draymond to score on this team. That's what I have Andrew Wiggins, Steph Curry, Jonathan Kuminga, and Dennis Schröder for. If Draymond's giving me 10, sure, I'm good with that. Points is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for quality shots. I'm not sure Jimmy's going to create quality shots in this building. And then you're going to trade a 4-time. You imagine that. You trade a 4-time champion? A guy who rocks with Steph Curry would not approve that trade.
Again,
think about it. Think about the locker room dynamic. Think about the locker room dynamic. You're trading Draymond Green, a 4-time champ, for a guy you may have for 4 months and may walk on you? I'm good. I'm sorry. I'm good. No. I wouldn't do that.
I'm trading a guy in Draymond Green that is devaluing in front of our eyes, and I'm trying to maximize this Stephen Curry window. That's how I sell it.
Draymond's actually had a good year.
He's had a great year. He's had a good year, and they're 500. That's what I'm trying to say.
Jimmy Butler can't even stay on the floor.
Well, okay, but again, it's a risk. It's a risk.
Let's do this exercise.
We're doing the risk. I'm with you, Bonte, but there's people that think that they're...
I would love to hear from people who want to trade Draymond Green for Jimmy Butler. That sounds asinine. Jimmy Butler, the last 4 years with the Miami Heat, this year he's only played 22 games. Year before that, he played 60. Year before that, he played 64. Year before that, he played 57, 52, 58, 55, 10, 59. This guy wasn't even hitting 60. He wouldn't even hit the 60s, Fedoni.
Well, what did Draymond Green do last year?
We got suspended.
We
got suspended, no doubt.
Yeah,
No doubt, he got suspended.
Let's not act like Draymond's a saint, too, if we're comparing Jimmy Butler.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
I get he's built the equity. I'm saying there's going to be some people, and there's going to be some hard feelings.
I would love to hear from people who wants to trade Draymond Green for Jimmy Butler.
You're overvaluing, I think, the blowback that there would be in the Bay Area.
Oh, no, I think you're undervaluing that. You're talking about a 4-time champion.
Great.
You're talking about a defensive player of the year. You're talking about a guy who was running the Warriors' way. Come on, man. Let's stop this. We're not trading Draymond Green for Jimmy freaking Butler. Are you crazy?
I'm trading a Hall of Famer for a Hall of Famer.
Jimmy Butler's a Hall of Famer?
Yes. He will go into the Hall of Fame. By the way, it's the Basketball Hall of Fame. Everyone gets in, first and foremost. So, yes, he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
888-957-9570. Shameless shout-outs coming up in 10 minutes. Shameless shout-outs.
He took a team to the finals twice as the best player.
Shout-outs. That's great. Did he win those finals?
Is that his fault?
Did he win those finals?
Okay, are we doing the LeBron argument?
No, we're not going to do those finals.
But what are we doing here? Come on.
And Jimmy Butler.
Are you really discrediting Jimmy Butler doing that?
Jimmy Butler. You're trading Draymond Green for Jimmy Butler.
Team on a championship run.
Are you improving your roster with Jimmy Butler? You're not winning more games in the Western Conference than Jimmy Butler.
If I get to keep Kuminga and I get to keep Andrew Wiggins, and it's just going to cost me Draymond and some young guys, Pajemski and Moody, maybe, okay, and some picks.
All right,
I could be sold on that.
Now let's get crazy here. Let's get crazy. Let's go to Mike in Oakland. I think we found somebody who would trade Draymond Green for Jimmy Butler, which is crazy. Mike, what's happening? You're on the roast.
What's up, Bonte?
What's up?
I'm definitely trading Draymond Green head up for Jimmy Butler.
Wow.
Absolutely. And throwing in one of the young guys. to me, as a Warrior fan, we've held on to Draymond Green entirely too long. We should have traded him that year after that championship. He couldn't even get on the court really in that championship to Game 4. So it's not like he's the player that he used to be.
Mike,
He's just not.
Mike, I recognize your voice. Mike.
Oh.
Okay.
Did you call the show today after Draymond Green clapped at me on TV?
I may have. But I didn't have time to stay on. You guys had me on hold for too long.
No, I think you called, and I think you may have called me one of the biggest haters out there. And now you want to trade Draymond Green for Jimmy Butler. It could be somebody else.
No.
Maybe it's not you. But I recognize your voice, Mike.
No.
I got a great recall, man.
I've been the voice for trading Draymond Green for a few years now. Right. You can ask anybody that knows me.
But why now, though? But let me ask you this.
We need to trade Draymond
But why now, though, when he's playing some really good basketball for the Warriors this season?
Because he's holding Jonathan Kuminga back.
How is he holding Kuminga back?
Draymond Green is playing some good ball, but I think we need to move him to make room for Jonathan Kuminga.
JK's playing 30 minutes now. He's playing well. He's getting his minutes.
Bonte, he's our second best player.
Jonathan
and he's
Kuminga
coming off the bench right now.
You think he's
Jonathan Kuminga is our second best player.
All right, that's fair.
Wiggins is our third best player. We got our second best player coming off the bench. That's a problem. If I'm Jonathan Kuminga and I'm his agent, why would I re-sign with the Warriors? You guys are devaluing me by having me come off the bench behind a guy who I'm clearly better than now. No, I can't play the defense that Draymond Green can play. But just as a basketball player, I'm a much better player than Draymond Green is right now.
All right.
That's just period.
That's fair. That's your opinion. That's fair. I don't agree with it.
And I'm going to tell you another thing. You're talking about Jimmy Butler being a cancer. To me, Draymond Green is a cancer. If you look at his attitude during the game, the way he complains to referees, the way he yells at Steve Kerr, if I'm a young player looking at that, why would I turn around and listen to Steve Kerr, to what he has to say, after the way I watched Draymond Green?
So, Mike, have you watched Jimmy Butler in Miami? Go after Eric Spoelstra. Go after Udonis Haslem.
Absolutely.
Go after Pat Riley.
Absolutely.
Go after youngsters.
Yes.
Yell at referees. You want to bring that guy to the locker room?
We already have a guy like that.
Why would you want to trade a guy like that for another guy like that?
We had a guy that
hold on, Mike, to your point, though, you want to get rid of that. Why would you want to trade for that? If that's because that's not making sense to me. You want to trade Draymond for Jimmy Butler? Jimmy Butler does the same stuff.
But Jimmy Butler's a better player.
Jimmy Butler's thrown the organization.
Jimmy Butler's a better player, Bonte.
He's okay.
I'm not saying that we need a little edge on the team.
But hold on. Being a better player doesn't mean you're a better fit for the team. You have to fit into the team.
It doesn't.
It does. Jimmy Butler don't fit. Jimmy Butler, I'm sorry.
I think he fits.
Jimmy Butler has worn out his welcome in every stop. Every stop he's been, he's worn out his welcome. And you want to trade Draymond for that guy?
Bonte, the only reason why Draymond Green is still here is because of Steph Curry. On any other team, he would have been gone.
And you think Steph wants to trade him for Jimmy Butler?
I don't think Steph wants to do that, but I think it's time for us to do what's best for us and not necessarily what's
Jimmy
best for
Butler
Steph.
is the bet. Jimmy Butler's the answer here, is what you're telling me.
I think Jimmy Butler would fit us better right now.
And where's Jimmy Butler
taking
his? And where's Jimmy Butler taking his team?
Well, he's taking us to the second round of the playoffs. With Draymond Green last year, we didn't even make the playoffs. You know why? Because he can't handle himself to stay on the court.
Well, I think he's done a better job.
He's a ticking time bomb.
Well, I think he's done a better job. Thanks, Mike, for the call. I think he's done a better job of doing that this season. Let's go to Filmo Mike. Filmo, what's happening?
I wasn't mad at it.
That's fine. I want to hear from people. What's up, Filmo?
Man, they out here. What's up, baby? You out here preaching, man. For real. Call you Bonte, Martin Luther Bonte. Anyway. On some real talk, I don't know why people smoking they puffing the Magic Dragon this morning, man. You feel me? For real, because you can't. I mean, on so many levels. You talking about trading Draymond Green? Steiny was on here yesterday talking about trading Steph Curry.
I heard that.
No, he was not.
Yeah, I heard that. They had the conversation.
He wasn't he? Exactly. Man, they puffing it, man. Steiny, new year, new Steiny. He's smoking weed now. He's smoking crack or something. I don't know what the hell's going on. But But Jimmy Butler for Draymond is not even a question. Like you just said it's the fit. Draymond is a connector piece. He's not the greatest of players. He's a connection piece, and that's why we need him.
I'm with you. And not only that, Philmo, thanks for the call.
Thanks, Philmo.
What is Steiny talking about? Draymond Green makes $24 million this year. What's Jimmy Butler making? 47?
Yeah, you have to add some pieces to that.
So you're going to have to add, say hypothetically, you want to trade Draymond Green for Jimmy Butler. Let me put my name on it. I, Bonte Hill, do not want to do that. In case somebody clips me out here, because I know how y'all get down. You're going to have to staple in Andrew Wiggins and Draymond Green, possibly, for Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
You do that? No. Wiggins and Draymond for Jimmy Butler?
So
hell no. And if you would do that, come on.
You're basically getting rid of all your depth to bring in Jimmy Butler.
All your depth. And guys who know the system here. And we're seeing how difficult it is for Schroder to adapt to the system. We're going to do that for Jimmy Butler? Really? After this guy says he's trying to find his joy? You're playing in South Beach, Miami. They're giving you $47 million. The hell you mean you need to find your joy? You need to find your joy. Are you kidding me? Jimmy Butler, you need to find your joy? Well, you had joy in Minnesota. You blew that. You're in Chicago. Blew that. You're in Philadelphia. Philadelphia actually chose Tobias Harris over you, and I see why. Not because Tobias Harris was a better player, because this is what you do, Jimmy. And now you got to Eric Spoelstra's considered one of the better coaches in the NBA, and he can't even get along with Spo. He can't get along with Coach Spo. And we want to trade one of our Hall of Famers, 4-time champs, for Jimmy Butler?
Trying to maximize that Stephen Curry window.
Oh, my God.
Got to maximize it.
Just got a text from my mom. She texted me. She can't even stand Draymond Green. She's never liked him, and even she wouldn't trade Draymond for Jimmy Butler.
I just love Sam chiming in.
This is insane.
I just got a text from Mom.
This is insane.
Shout out to Mom. She's listening.
Her first name, please, Sam?
Jamie. She's a roaster.
Exactly. Please.
Big time
Thank
roaster.
you. And I've met the lovely Jamie. She's very nice.
I do love the lovely Jamie.
She's very nice.
Mama Lovin'. I love her.
Well, no, but different last name.
Yeah, different last name. Sorry, Mama.
What's the last name, Sam?
Rucky.
There we go. Jamie
Mama
Rucky.
Rucky.
There we go.
Mama Rucky.
She ain't no rookie. I'll tell you that.
Uncle G coming in on the text line.
Oh.
This is how you know it's serious. Comcast mistake. By the way, Seamus shout-outs coming up in a couple minutes.
Shout out Jimmy Butler if you want to.
We need to get shout out
for all
to
those
Jimmy
people
Butler.
that love Draymond Green.
And the green braids in his head.
For all those people that love Draymond Green, come shout him out. 888-957-9570.
Come on, man. Butler talk is nonsense. Time for some Niners talk. That's Uncle G.
The Niners, stop. Gene, I love you. The Niners are nonsense right now. They're cooked.
Man.
They have a meaningless game on Sunday. Talking about a team that...
Did Steiny really talk about trading Steph Curry?
Yeah, I was doing my grocery shopping and I was heading back around like 11:30, and I heard him talk about the hypothetical of trading a Stephen Curry and then you would receive... He actually made a comp that was interesting. It was when the Pistons traded Grant Hill for Ben Wallace. He was likening it to that. If you traded Steph now, the haul that you would receive would not be what a lot of Warriors fans think. So I actually think he was saying that you wouldn't trade him because the haul wouldn't be as what you...
Right.
I think that's... now that I'm reliving it, they were having the conversation, but he was saying, yeah, Warriors fans, you're not getting what you think you're getting if you trade Stephen Curry.
Yeah, because I don't think so either, because of the contract.
Correct, and the age and all of that.
And then you still got to hit on the picks. You just don't do that.
No.
Like, I don't care if Steph started shooting 37% from the floor and 35 from three. I'd have a hard time as an organization personally trading away a guy like Stephen Curry and everything he's done for this community, this organization, and who he is as a player. It's just like your favorite radio host, right?
Yeah.
I'd rather them die on a microphone than get told, hey, you got to walk out the door and you're fired.
Right.
You got to leave. No, I'd rather them be able to they should be allowed. Like Crooked Kipe, a lot of people are ready to move on from them. Crooked Kipe should retire whenever the hell they want to retire. Yes. I don't care how bad they get, how slower they get, how older they get. I don't give a damn.
Was anyone doing that to Vin Scully for all those years with the Dodgers?
No.
Please. Guy was 95 and still calling games at a high level.
No.
Think Joe Davis was pushing to get Vin out of here. No. Stop. Joe Davis is doing a hell of a job, too.
He is doing a hell of a job.
I mean, no one replaces Vin Scully, but he's the... Like
Jim Nantz. He decides when he walks away from the Masters.
And kudos to Scott Van Pelt saying, he's like, yeah, no one, I'm not going to the footsteps of a Jim Nantz. I could never do it on his level, nor would I want to have that job.